And yes, you might say that, you know, I don't know who else to vote for. Well, again, just go ahead and check out the website and we'll let you know everyone. I know
you guys can root for me, actually.
You haven't even won any games, Andre.
I know, but they can still root for me. If they don't know who to root for.
Right, if you don't have anyone to root for Gretorp.
Exactly.
Is that the saying? People started saying that about me as well, so probably from association with you.
Probably. You know, guys, also, if you don't know already, the Gauntlet is the off-season. And the off-season, we're still trying to bring you guys content while we're preparing for Season 4. Now, Season 4, it's going to be bigger and better than Season 3. I can't wait to actually tell you who's going to be there. But definitely check out the reduced price. It is, I believe, 20% off. Yeah, 20% off of standard prices in the season. You can check it out now at NASL.TV. But for now, let's go into this Daybreak game with ZVP.
And then the bottom left, we have Revolver, the Zerg player from, oh, man. I don't know, actually, but he's on the team NCM. And I'm having such a brain fart. Do you know where Revolver's from?
No, I don't.
Okay, but he definitely is a strong European Zerg, and he's up against Fnatic Harstem, the guy who currently holds 2 wins and the current Gauntlet, and he's killed 2 Zergs to do it. And I guess Harstem is, unpredictable in the sense that you can't really say what he always does, and he's capable of many builds.
Okay, let me explain what just happened real quick. So the normal thing that we see from PvZ is this probe will actually block out this hatchery over here. The probe was actually in the lines checking for a spawning pool to go down or tracking if a drone was going to go into the hatchery. Revolver very smartly actually brought a drone all around when he saw the probe come in with the Overlord. He brought it around, the probe went down, and then the drone went out. Now he doesn't have enough minerals to actually make this spawning pool or the hatchery. More importantly, the hatchery. But what he wants to do is actually sell that he's still going spawning pool. He made the extractor to make it look like it's extractor spawning pool, and then canceled the extractor, only losing 6 minerals, and then buying his hatchery. It's really clever because it sells like, hey, I might be going spawning pool, keep your probe inside, don't try to block me, and that gives him just the 5 or 10 seconds to actually put down that hatchery. Really clever by our Zerg hero over here.
Yeah, those kinds of small tactics actually saves you a world of heartache in terms of getting the hatchery up at an appropriate time. You know, some Zergs even just avoid it. I know, like Rhett, for example, Dark Force did it too last game. They just avoid trying to fight for the natural and say, all right, I'll just give it up for now and just take the conventional third immediately. You can see that Harstem's just patrolling the third as well, trying to monitor if any fast third is underway. Usually you would take it about at least before the 4:30 mark, but I guess Revolver is not really intending on moving out to it just yet until he gets his Zerglings out.
Yeah, you don't need to as much because you go hatchery first, of course. But as you said, it's normally the better thing to do, in my opinion, just to get your third down as fast as possible, especially on Daybreak, because you mention it time and time again, Frodan, creep spread. Creep spread is so important at that third base. If it's not extended as much as possible, you are kind of susceptible to a lot of different, you know, 4-gate pressures or any sort of gateway pressures in this early game stage.
Look at that. You can see that Revolver played a little bit greedy. He only got 2 links instead of 4, so taking out that pylon's going to be a long time. And that's a great read by Harstem. Is he going to place another building to try to block it further?
He very well could. But he's not going to get it. And you can see, because of this pylon and only 2 Zerglings, look at that money. It's actually skyrocketing. He was at 600 before he actually spent everything on 10. Count at 10 drones. Yeah. It's going to help out.
Wow, 553 expansion, so a significantly delayed hatchery. All because of Harstem, and now Harstem is going for Stargate once again. And why not? I mean, if it worked last game, earned him 75 bucks, do it again. And Harstem, of course, did it directly off of 2 gases, and pretty much at the same time as his first unit, so this is very, very early Stargate from Harstem.
So what do you think this is going to be? Is it Void Raid or is it going to be Phoenix?
I still think it's going to be Phoenix, actually, and then switch directly back into Robo, because if he delayed the expansion significantly, the Phoenixes will continue to do that because the drones will be delayed at the third. But you know what? Anything is possible. Oh, and he's going for Void Raid this time. So, you know what? It's I guess it's all based off how he's feeling by the progression of the early game.
Yeah.
I guess I don't know too much about Harstem's direct mentality of how he plays against Zerg.
It is definitely interesting. I think the Phoenixes didn't do nearly as much damage as he wanted to. A lot of times you will pick off a lot of Overlords if you're catching your opponent by the surprise. Dark Force was very, very good at keeping everything together. But right now, I mean, Revolver has all the indicators to know that, you know, he is pretty safe. He has his Overlords in position, but he hasn't yet actually went in. Actually, he only has one Overlord in position, excuse me.
That's right.
Where's
the
his
second one? Should be at least patrolling.
It should be over here, yeah. That's so crazy. But okay, the Void Ray is going
because the second one went to the third.
Yeah, that is a weird pathing, actually. But
it's weird, but I can understand. I think he's. I'm not sure if he's trying to gauge whether or not Harstem's one of those protoss to expand at like the 6:30 mark, the 7-minute mark that we've been seeing. So I guess you really want to know that, and at least if you can scout the natural gas timings, maybe Revolver prepares builds accordingly. But now Harstem is actually doing what we thought he was going to do, is switch directly back into Robo. In fact, he's now making another unit out of the Stargate. So this could be a Stargate fake where he tries to make it seem like he's going to go for Void Ray Phoenix Pressure, but directly convert his gas into tangible ground units. And I guess go for a follow-up push.
We've seen this before, really getting a head start on this gateway tech. I shouldn't say gateway tech, but the gateway count. And all the way up to 6 gateways very early on. Now, what this is a mind game. You're basically saying to your opponent, hey, prepare for Stargate play. And 4 spores did drop down immediately because of that. But at the same time, you're switching over to gateways really fast, and you're expecting your opponent not to be able to react to the gateways as fast. You want them to be droning up, and then you catch them midway. And it's really going to be how active Revolver is going to be in this early game stage. Now, I love this. Zerglings are going to go immediately out. There should be a round of units that come up pretty fast. 59 Harvesters to 46, and he still has not been able to put down his macro hatchery yet. But he has good upgrades. You can see 2 evolution chambers are going to help out quite a bit. Look at this. Denying the third base, really trying to punish Harstem for any of these fast thirds that really don't exist. Yeah. Or you don't have the capabilities of really doing these builds.
And he gets the probe as well, so the follow-up Nexus is going to be delayed as well. And that's just going to annoy Harstem a lot. And now I think Revolver senses this, well, there's the Void Ray and there's no Phoenixes and there's no real ability for him to poke. And he sees a mass sentry army, so something has to be really fishy. Now the big thing is that Harstem went up to 7 gates and then chose to expand. This is actually really interesting because he's ramping up his production in his games before he actually expands, and I guess he really wants the safety net of being able to mass produce if he really needs to. But look at this, he's not even going to attempt a third base. This is what we thought he was going to do in the previous game, where he might fake an expansion and go for a follow-up push. In fact, he's adding on an 8th gate, Andre.
Oh.
Man, this is going to be a crazy heavy push from Harstem, especially with the War Prism out.
But look at this, 8 Infestors out in the way. That's going to help out so much against this army. It's very sentry heavy. And when you have sentries, all it takes is a couple of fungals to really just destroy those. Because those fungals are able to just isolate all the sentries, and then you have no more force fields. And you're banking on force fields. Although Revolver is actually giving his opponent a ton of room to move forward.
Yeah, you can force field and just trap the Zerglings or Infestors from ever being able to engage his army. The Infestors also getting caught immediately off spawn. Huge pickoff for Harstem thus far. Now, you do need 4 fungals in order to snipe these sentries. He just does land 1. And still needs to land some follow-up ones as well. The 3rd hatchery drops immediately. A great timing attack. Another couple of Infestors are getting picked off. They do drop a fungal, and a lot of units are very weak. But Revolver can't really get the Zerglings to do DPS. In fact, the drones are the ones that are marching forward, and these Immortals are very well protected. And in fact, starting to regen some shields as well. Harstem is doing a great job. Fantastic attack here, hitting exactly when Zerg is weakest. And you can see the Infestors, even though they drop Infested Terrans and the Fungals immediately getting dropped. Harstem is able to do so much damage, and GG.
There it is.
Man.
My gosh. Wow. And, you know, that game again, I think it was the macro hatch that really affected him, but Harstem showing his insanely good timing with his 2 base pushes, with even his 3 base pushes, of course, in game number 1, but showing that he is able to react to what he sees on the map and what he kind of feels out, and Harstem is hitting these timings like at the most precise moments ever. That is so tiny. If he's 20 seconds later, those Infestors are out. Yeah. They're in good position. They're able to fungal down, maybe even off creep. And then when you approach the creep, you're absolutely dead to a ton of Zerglings.
The sentries the sentries would drop, less force fields, less zone control, maybe even fungal the warp prism, and weird things can happen. The queen picks it off. There's a lot of possibilities if you're in position, and Harstem again hits it. It's as simple as using the Zerglings to try to buy a little bit of time, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But of course, what Harstem did really well was also control a lot of the vision, because he was moving according to what he allowed Zerg to see. So there's not a lot of reaction time that was allowed from Revolver. And overall, you can't really blame Revolver, but you have to commend Harstem for how he did it. And I don't even know if he was actually meaning to take that third.
I think it was a 3-base fake.
Was it a deliberate fake from the beginning?
I think it was, because think about how far in advance he actually made his gateways. That's a lot of gateways. It's a ton of immortals. If you're going defensive like that and you know your opponent has the ability to go Zerglings, Mass Zerglings, you're not actually going to keep going in your immortal count. That's really, really scary. So I think that was a deliberate attack, and he meant to cancel his third base. Really cool. Yeah,
really cool mind games from Harstem. And again, mixing it up, not necessarily staying to one core base style of build. On Daybreak, he just showed a Stargate build. Now he showed a Stargate build fake into a 3-base fake into a huge 8-gate immortal push. So we'll be back after a quick commercial break. We'll find out who Harstem will be playing next. It's going to be on Antigua Shipyards. Guys, of course, if you want to join the Gauntlet, go ahead and join the channel NASL, just those 4 letters. The Gauntlet channel recording is a little bit bugged, so we'll find out if we can get that fixed. But for now, just join that channel, talk to an admin, and get in line. This is the EU Gauntlet, and we'll be back after a quick commercial.